In the matter before this honorable court, the learned counsel for the petitioner submitted that the entire proceedings initiated by the respondent authority are illegal, arbitrary, and without jurisdiction. It has been contended that the order impugned suffers from gross violation of the principles of natural justice in as much as no opportunity of hearing was afforded to the petitioner prior to the passing of the said order. The learned counsel has further argued that the authority concerned acted in undue haste and without application of mind, thereby depriving the petitioner of his valuable legal rights. It has also been argued that the notice issued to the petitioner was vague, ambiguous, and devoid of specific allegations, making it impossible for him to submit an effective reply. The petitioner, it is submitted, had been serving under the respondent department for more than 15 years with an unblemished record, and the sudden action taken against him has caused immense hardship and irreparable loss to his reputation. The learned counsel for the petitioner placed reliance upon several judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court to substantiate his contention that an order passed without affording a reasonable opportunity of hearing is null and void in the eyes of law. On the other hand, the learned counsel appearing for the respondent authority submitted that all procedural requirements were duly complied with and that the petitioner was given sufficient opportunity to present his defense. It was further contended that the petitioner was found guilty of serious misconduct in the course of departmental proceedings, and the punishment imposed is proportionate to the gravity of the charges proved against him. The learned counsel argued that judicial interference in administrative matters should be exercised with utmost restraint, and only when the action complained of is found to be perverse or arbitrary. The Honorable Court, having heard the rival submissions, observed that the question involved in the present case is whether the disciplinary authority acted within the bounds of law and whether the principles of natural justice were adhered to. The court noted that while the authority has power to initiate disciplinary proceedings, such power must be exercised fairly, reasonably, and in accordance with the established procedure. The court also took note of the fact that the petitioner had submitted certain representations during the pendency of the inquiry, but the same were not duly considered by the competent authority. The failure to consider relevant material, the court observed, amounts to denial of fair hearing. It was further observed that the right to be heard before any adverse order is passed is not merely a formality but a fundamental requirement of justice. The Honorable Court remarked that even in administrative or disciplinary proceedings, fairness must be the guiding principle. The court also referred to the settled proposition that reasons are the soul of every order and that absence of reasons renders the decision unsustainable. The learned judge stated that the power conferred upon authorities must not be exercised in an arbitrary manner but within the limits of law, keeping in view the rights and dignity of the individual concerned. The court, while emphasizing the importance of procedural fairness, also noted that the petitioner's service record and conduct prior to the alleged misconduct were not taken into consideration. The court further observed that proportionality between the misconduct and the punishment imposed is an essential aspect of administrative fairness. If the punishment imposed is disproportionate to the nature of the charges, the same cannot be sustained. The court expressed displeasure over the manner in which the departmental inquiry had been conducted and remarked that it appeared to have been influenced by extraneous considerations. The Honorable Judge also recorded that the disciplinary authority failed to furnish the relevant documents and inquiry report to the petitioner, thereby violating his right to defend himself effectively. After a detailed examination of the material placed on record, the court concluded that the impugned order cannot be upheld in its present form. Consequently, the order of punishment was quashed and set aside. However, the court granted liberty to the respondent authority to initiate fresh proceedings if so advised strictly in accordance with law and after affording the petitioner an opportunity of hearing. The court made it clear that any such proceedings shall be concluded within a stipulated period and without unnecessary delay. The court further directed that the petitioner shall be entitled to all consequential benefits arising from the setting aside of the order, including reinstatement and payment of arrears of salary subject to the final outcome of the fresh proceedings if initiated. The Honorable Court also observed that the concept of natural justice is not an empty ritual but a living principle that ensures fairness in administrative action. It reiterated that every authority exercising quasi judicial power must record reasons and provide a reasonable opportunity to the affected party before arriving at a conclusion. The court further held that fairness in procedure is an indispensable component of the rule of law and its breach cannot be justified on grounds of administrative convenience. The judgment concluded by observing that justice must not only be done but must also appear to have been done and that transparency in administrative decisions is the cornerstone of public confidence in the justice system. The petition was accordingly allowed in the above terms with no order as to costs. The Honorable Court further observed that the essence of justice lies not merely in adherence to procedural formality, but in ensuring that every action of the administration reflects fairness, transparency, and accountability. It was emphasized that when an authority exercises power affecting the livelihood and dignity of a public servant, such power must be tempered with compassion and reason. The court also cautioned the disciplinary proceedings should never be used as a tool for victimization or to settle personal scores. Before parting with the case, the court directed the chief secretary to issue necessary guidelines, ensuring strict compliance with the principles of natural justice in all future departmental enquiries.